Hi everybody, welcome to Fabulous Living with Angela Jones, and happy spring! Yay! I'm so excited. I feel like I can handle this whole pandemic quarantining situation better because, the weather will be lighter, be able to kind of, move about a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit more. You won't feel so encumbered with a cold and all that jazz. So I'm super psyched about it being spring. I don't know about y'all, but I love spring because it's just a sense of renewal in the spring. Flowers are blooming, the birds are chirping, everything. It's just it's just like this sense of renewal and refreshment in the spring. So with that, for today's show, I thought that it would just be appropriate to celebrate the season, to celebrate this new, time for us to get rejuvenated and, come alive. So for me, in my mind, I think brunch, it's the weekend, you want to have a, you may sleep in. I don't, because I'm an early person, but some of you may want to sleep in after church. That's the next thing you want to do. You want to eat. After you get the word, you want to eat. So typically for me on Sundays, pre-pandemic, it would be church and brunch or lunch or what have you. So today, all about brunch. And this is something we're going to be doing, of course, over the course of time because brunch is just the bomb. And I love brunch, so we will see more things. So this is just one of many, many iterations of brunch that you'll see. But on today's menu, we're going to have fruit and yogurt parfaits with homemade granola. So easy to make. I have never made it, so we're going to make it together. I'm like, how hard can it be? And it isn't. It's super simple. You'll never want to buy granola. That's my whole thing. As I'm trying to get into this place where I'm buying something, where I'm making some things that I would typically buy. So that's first up. Then we're going to do some homemade dry pancake mix because why buy when you can DIY? Hey, wasn't that cute? I'm going to have to trademark that. Why buy when you can DIY? When you can do it yourself? So no more buying, the boxes, of pancake mix. We're going to make our own pancake mix today. And it'll just be there for you at the ready whenever you need it. Then we're going to also round out our brunch with a Hashbrown Casserole. So simple, so delicious, so cheesy. I can already taste it. Then we're going to, as our, protein today, I don't eat it, but my son loves them. We're going to do some fresh salmon cakes, which can also double as salmon burgers. Just put a brioche bun or a potato roll or whatever kind of bun you like, and you got yourself a salmon burger. But we're going to be having them as the feature protein for our brunch today, and I'm going to make myself some sausage or bacon or something else to go with it. So that's going to be that's our lineup for today. But also remember that with brunch you also want to throw in like something, savory, like a pasta dish, a salad, because it is a combination of brunch and lunch. But for today we're just going to be doing the breakfasty side of brunch, and then just use your imagination and fill in the gaps with pastries and sausage and bacon, of course mimosas. Can't have brunch without mimosas or something sparkly to drink, which we will also have a little bit of, but a mocktail today instead of a cocktail. And you just want to balance. You want some fresh fruit, which we're going to get with the fruit parfaits, fruit salad. So those are kind of all the things you want to kind of round your table out with for brunch. But first, let's get to this granola. So first up, I have 2 cups of old-fashioned oats already here in my bowl. I have a 1/2 cup of sliced almonds, You can always switch this out if you want. If you want to do pecans or walnuts or pepitas or something, any other kind of nut, pumpkin seed, you can really make this granola what you want. So feel free to fill in with what you prefer. But I happen to love almonds, so this one is going to be more of an almond focused granola. 2 tablespoons of olive oil. But I just wanted to add that you can always switch, you can definitely switch this out. If you didn't want to do olive oil, you can always switch it out and do 2 tablespoons of melted coconut oil in its place. But I didn't have any coconut oil aside what I use for my hair that's in the bathroom, which of course I could not bring to the kitchen. So we're going to do olive oil. Olive oil is safe if you don't have coconut oil. Most of us have olive oil on hand. We're next going to add, like I said, this is almond, 2 tablespoons of almond butter. A quarter of a cup, of pure maple syrup. No fakey stuff, none of that, faux maple syrup. We're using pure maple syrup. I don't even buy the fake stuff anymore. Once you've had pure maple syrup, you'll never go back to when you can definitely taste the difference in maple syrup when you have like the real deal as opposed to the fakey stuff. A half a cup of coconut flakes. Now this is totally optional. You don't have to do that if you don't like coconut. But I like coconut, so I don't mind that in there. But it's totally optional. You don't have to do it. Then we're gonna next put in 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I just want this to be nice and warm and spicy. So we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And I'm just going to do just a quick splash of vanilla. Nothing much, but just a little bit. It's just a splash. I just kind of feel like I wanted to also have a vanilla hint to it as well. So I'm going to mix all of this up, stir it up really well. Now, I also wanted to say, too, that you can add, after it's cool, you can add your dried fruit. If you want to add dried mango or dried cranberry or, I'm trying to think of what else would go well. Any kind of dried fruit that you wanted to. You do that after the fact. You know what? I'm going to also do some sea salt. Just a little, not much. Just about, maybe about a half a teaspoon of sea salt. Better on there than in our granola. So now we want to stir everything together. We want to make sure that it's nice and well mixed. Definitely want to make sure everything is all melded together. And what I'm going to do is I kind of like thicker, like chunks of granola. So what we're going to do is when we put it on the pan, we're going to make sure that it is kind of thick when we put it out on the pan. And then we're going to cook it for, the total cook time is 30 minutes at 300 degrees on a baking sheet that's lined with parchment paper. But halfway through, we're going to break the pieces up so that then they can kind of crisp up and everything. But if you don't want yours thick, you can definitely make it thinner if you want more of a thin kind of deal with your granola. But I like it to be in chunks. And the other good thing that is so cool about this is that you can easily make this. This is easily a cereal. Because the cereal that I eat is kashi, and it's already just, you know, just chunks of clusters of the oats and almonds and things like that. So I'm like, So you can definitely keep this in a canister and make it, and just put your choice of milk on it, and then you add yourself the cereal. So this is going to serve a dual purpose. I love a two-for. I love a two-for. A twofer. I guess that's really the way I should say it. So we're just going to kind of put that on in kind of like an oval shape, kind of thick. We're going to get that in the oven for 15 minutes. Then we're going to take it out, clump it up, and then put it back in for the other 15 minutes. And we're going to set that to the side and let it cool before we add it to our parfaits. Okay, on the top rack too. So, have that squared away. Now, let's get this homemade buttermilk pancake mix together. Let's see. This. Okay. And I put down all of my little notes here because I don't want to miss anything. So if you see me looking over, that's what I'm doing. So here, I already have in my bowl 6 cups of all-purpose flour. Already here in my bowl. So simple. Then I have, let's do it in order inch. Then next I have my 1 1/3 cup of dry buttermilk. And this is so good to just have on hand when you're doing a big batch, or if you're, like I said, just to have it around and you don't have to buy it. And this is the brand, it's the Seiko Pantry. It's their cultured buttermilk, and you find it in the aisle where your baking supplies are. It is great because I think I mentioned to you before when probably in the first episode about buttermilk, is that of course you can always do the buttermilk you can make your own, as we did, I think we did it with the cornbread. You can make it with milk and vinegar. Once it sours and it clumps, it becomes buttermilk. But for something like this, the dry buttermilk is a nice way to do it so that it's one less thing that you have to add to the wet ingredients when you're ready to prepare it. You know what I mean? So this is great for that. So that's that. And then here I already have 3 tablespoons of baking powder, a tablespoon of baking soda, and 3 teaspoons of salt. And that goes. And then, last but not least, we have a 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. So now, we're just going to whisk this together. And then we're going to keep it here. I already have an airtight canister to place it in. And when you make this, so this makes all this mix here as is make 60 pancakes. So if you were having like a big to-do, which we'll, hopefully be able to do soon, not too soon though, gather with our family and our friends, you'll have this already ready, which is great. Now, if you just want to make, like for us today, I'm just making maybe about 5 or 6 pancakes just for the 2 of us. Let me... There. So I just want to fold this. I just want to ensure that everything is all mixed in together. You know, you want to make sure that all the baking soda, the baking powder, all the ingredients are all well mixed, because you've just created your own pancake mix. No need to buy the stuff in a box, because you just did it just like that. And you see how quickly that was done. So again, there's no sense in buying stuff when you can make it yourself. Seriously. Like, some things, okay, I get that we have to, you know, that you want to buy some things. But certain things, I'm just, you know, starting to get out of that. Just being so dependent on getting everything from the grocery store. That's why it's nice to know how to do things. You're not so reliant on the store for certain things. And then when you know exactly what you're putting in there, you know exactly what's going in your body. Not saying that pancakes are great for you people, so don't, you know, say, she's acting like pancakes are good for you, talking about what goes in your body. I'm just saying that at least you can control what's in here, and you don't have any of the other preservatives and chemicals and all that stuff in there. Okay, I think that this is well mixed. So, then we're going to add it to our canister, and I'm going to take out what I need later so that I can have it for our brunch this morning. Actually, let me go ahead and do that. So I'm going to need a cup and a third of the mix. Let me just go ahead and take that out. Almonds over there. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do this now. Let's take this out. And then I'll have the exact recipe for just doing it for a cup in the description box, of course. Okay, let's take out a little scoop. There. Perfect. Cup and a third. We have that set aside. Then, actually, we add this. I'm not going to fill it, but I just want you to get the idea of how you can easily store it. I like to store things. I'm trying to get away from using plastic. So I like to have it in this these glass canisters that I got from like Home Goods for like $6 or $7 a crate. Great to do it with this whisk because then it's not as messy. Just trying to, you know, use a spoon and pouring it over. So now you have your own homemade pancake mix, buttermilk pancake mix. And all you have to do is add water, an egg, vanilla, and some melted butter. And you're set. How fabulous is that? Hello, I love it. So we'll put that aside. And next, let's go ahead and whip up this Hashbrown Casserole. So next, we're gonna whip up this Hashbrown Casserole. So you want to take a 16-ounce bag of frozen shredded hash browns that you've already thawed. So add that to your bowl. This is great because a lot of things with brunch, because you're making so many different things. You want as much stuff, much like the pancake mix, to be pre-made, things that you can do quickly. Quiche, frittata, you know, that kind of thing. This casserole, which you can really prep everything ahead of time to sit in the fridge. let me grab my sour cream because I like to keep everything in the fridge until needed. So, next, let's add, we're gonna do about a half a cup of sour cream. Then we have an egg. 8 ounces of shredded cheese, and you can use whatever cheese you like. I'm using cheddar. You can use sharp if you want. I wanted to just use, because I'm trying to be mindful of not wasting, as I talked about in one of our other shows. So I just want to use what I already had on hand, and I had mild cheddar, so that's what I went for. Then we're going to add a medium small onion that's already been diced. There. Got equivalent to a medium onion, diced. For another purpose. Then we're going to add some smoked paprika. Now on this, you can definitely add, if you like, you can add sweet paprika. I just always tend to have smoked on hand, and I like that, you know, that smoky flavor, you know, that smoky flavor, so that's kind of what I tend to do. And already have them out. So we're going to do just a teaspoon and a half of the smoked paprika. And even if you have regular paprika, just paprika. It doesn't have to be sweet or smoked. Just as long as you have paprika. Let's see. Next, we're going to do a quarter of a teaspoon of cayenne. Oh, love this. Darn it. Okay. And just a quarter of a teaspoon of that. We just want a little heat, just a little bit. And of course, that's optional. You do not have to put that in if you don't want to. Totally optional. Then we're going to do a quarter of a cup of chives. Fresh chives, preferably. If you have dried, it's okay, but you kind of want that fresh taste in them. Like when you eat a potato, like when you eat like a baked potato and you have fresh chives on it, you kind of want, so that's why I think the fresh chives are best. Next, we're going to do some salt and pepper. And season to your liking. But we like pepper, so I'm probably going to put probably more pepper than most people would in mine. But I always say again, salt and pepper, season to taste. You may not want to be as heavy-handed as I'm being with pepper. Or even salt even. You may say that's too much for you or too little. So again, to your liking. Okay, and now we want to get this all mixed up. We want to make sure all of that sour cream and that egg and everything is well blended in our mixture here. This is going to be so good. It already smells good. It's not even cooked. Ah! Love it. You know, this is great. Now, this is typically, the recipe calls for a 9 by 9 casserole dish, but I decided I wanted to put mine in these cute little like mini casserole dishes instead, just to kind of, you know, judge things up a little bit. And these are great too because they always have things like that at Home Goods, Home Sense for like nothing. Like you can sometimes get a pack of these, like a set 4 of these for like $7 or something ridiculous. And they're just great to have on hand if you want to, just having a dinner party with a group of people, 4 to 6 people, and you want everybody to maybe have some individual servings of things like mac and cheese or Hashbrown Casserole or a corn pudding or whatever. They're great. This looks like it is coming together nicely. So, I think these are ready to go in our pans. So, these, you want to make sure you properly greased your pans. And I did with some cooking spray. You could use butter if you want to. And you just want to make sure that they're nice. You don't want them too thick because you want them to get nice and crispy. And that's a really good portion size. So I filled it up maybe about halfway full. And that's a good portion size for someone, I think. I'm gonna whip up these 4, and it might be some left. And what I'm gonna do is just stick the rest in the fridge, and we can have them later on this week. So it's great for that, especially since it really calls for a 9 by 9 pan, like I said. But since it's just the 2 of us, it's great to always have something left over. Let me check our granola because I'm sure I smell it. It smells so amazing that it's ready to be turned. And it is. And we are there. And I'm just going to break it up. So you can see that camera here. Break it up some. And then we'll put it back in for another 15 minutes. It smells really good. I smell all that cinnamon, I can smell that maple syrup. Awesome sauce. Yum. Okay. That is going to do it for the 4 of these. And then there'll be enough left for maybe 2 more portions. So you're using this ramekin, and I'll get the exact dimensions of it for you. I think it's a 4 by 4. That's what I think. Okay, I'm putting a little too much in that one. Okay. And then I'm just gonna kind of go back through because the first one could use a little more love. So we're gonna put a little more in that one. This one. And you wanna make sure that it's well packed in there too. That's a good one so it won't burn. There. Okay. So we're set with this. So we're gonna put this in once our granola comes out of the oven. Then we can add these in, and this is gonna go in for about 45 minutes. But these are, since we're doing them in the ramekins, these are not going to take as long in these smaller dishes. So I'm probably only gonna have to keep these in for maybe about 25 minutes. But if you're doing the 9 by 9 casserole dish, you definitely wanna keep them in for 45 minutes at about, what do I have in my notes here? 400 degrees on the top rack. So next we are going to get our cells together and prepare our fresh salmon cakes. Be right back. So next we're going to prepare our fresh salmon cakes. For me, I'm not a seafood eater, but I know how to prepare seafood. And typically, I know because most people are like, I'm putting that in there because most people are like, didn't she say she didn't eat seafood? How's she making? My mother always says, you're always making something. You can make it well, and you don't even eat it. I kind of feel it. I feel it out. I feel it out. But typically, when my mom made salmon cakes for our family, it was always out of the can. And I thought, I had 2 pieces of salmon. Let's go ahead and turn that into, make fresh salmon cakes instead of using a can. So, let me take my glasses off for a second. I feel like sometimes I need to do that, to take a break from my glasses. So, the recipe that I'm posting in the description is for 1 pound of salmon. But like I said, I didn't have a pound of salmon. This is approximately 12 ounces of salmon. So just a little shy of a pound. So I'm going to be deviating from the recipe a little bit because I'm using a little less salmon than the recipe calls for. But the recipe calls for 1 pound of salmon. So again, I'm just making this just for my son to have this morning. So it's going to be enough for maybe about for 3 cakes or so. So it's fresh salmon that I roasted this morning, and I just drizzled it with a little olive oil, sea salt, pepper, and garlic powder. So I already flaked one and put it in the bowl, and I just wanted to flake the other one. So you can see how I kind of did that. And just remove it all from the skin and kind of leave that slimy stuff that you always leave behind in the can off. You want to get all of it into your bowl. Yeah, that's definitely going to make about maybe 3 or 4, depending on how big I make them. And let's just get some of that other salmon we left behind. And we're set. So we're going to flake it, much like we do when we're using canned salmon. And I'm going to add, let's see, I'm eyeballing it based on this. I'm going to do maybe 3 tablespoons of mayo. Get that all mixed in. Put a little onion, a little diced onion in there. And then a little bit of red and green pepper. Just a little. Let's see. Get that mixed up. And like I said, these are also great too if you want to make a salmon burger. That's really essentially all it is, especially because you're using fresh salmon. Yum! Uh-oh. Parsley down. So we're only going to use 1 egg. It's 2 eggs that are required when you're doing it for a whole pound. I'll take that, sir. Hey, these things happen, people. Parsley. Just gonna sprinkle enough in there to give it some color. And I'm going to use some seasoning salt. You can use Lowry's or whatever you like. Just have a seasoning salt here. And some black pepper. A little more garlic. Like I said, I seasoned it very sparingly, the salmon, when I roasted it. Very sparingly because I knew I was going to be adding more to, more seasonings to the mix when we actually mix it together. And then I'm going to add some panko, just a little. Just a little. There. sometimes I get a little heavy-handed with my mayo, so this will kind of help to balance it out. That's the thing. If you make something too wet, you know, you can always add more something dry to kind of round it out. Yeah, these are going to be perfect. And look how nice and bright and fresh they look, you know, as opposed to the can, because when they've been sitting in the can and the oil, then they're definitely not this bright, fresh, pretty color. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these into my patties, and I'm going to stick them in the fridge for a little bit, especially because we're still waiting on the hash browns to come out. And yeah, I just kind of take a little forkful, a couple of, you know, a big forkful, and round it out. Here. And one. So yeah, this is definitely going to make about 4 for sure, which is good. Okay, everybody, I stuck these. I started to stick them in the fridge, but I decided to stick them in the freezer for a few minutes, just because I want them to be nice and well formed, so they don't end up falling apart when we place them in our pan. So let's put them in here. I have them on a medium high pan with some vegetable oil in there, because I want them to be in this really shallow, because I'm not deep frying these, but I do want them to get nice and brown on the sides. And they'll just need to stay on each side until they're a nice golden brown. That's what we want, a nice golden brown color. Welcome back. Look at this, yummy. I know everything looks kind of orange on the plate right now, but it's going to round out once we have our pancakes and our scrambled eggs on there. But the potatoes are perfect. They crisped up very nicely. You can see all the cheese, the chives. Oh, it's going to be yummy. And then the salmon cakes are beautiful, beautiful. Nice and crisp around the edges. So that's going to be a yummy meal. I've already got a pan going so I can prepare Darius some eggs, some scrambled eggs. And I've already whipped up, and again, the exact ingredients and measurements and everything will be in the description box. But I have our pancake mix going here. It's just too long of a show to try to do everything, but I'm going to make sure you guys are straight in the description box. So we have our plate all set, but I wanted you to see how lovely the granola came out. So I put it in an airtight container. Here are the parfaits. I used vanilla, Chobani vanilla yogurt, fresh strawberries and fresh raspberries, and just layered it. Yogurt, fruit, until your last layer is, of course, yogurt. And then I put the granola on. Now, I tasted it. Now, for me, it could be a little sweeter, but I know granola is supposed to be healthy, so you don't want it to be crazy sweet. But let's give this a taste all together. Because probably once the yogurt and the fruit gets in there, it'll probably be better than I think. So what I like is I want to be able to get some of the fruit and the yogurt in one bite. That's good. Really good. I will put a little more maple syrup in mine next time, I'm just saying, but it is really good. That's one thing I can cross off the list. I will not be buying granola again from the store. Really good. And, just make sure I'm not burning my pan back there. It's great because, like I said, you can pour milk over it and have cereal. I just did 2 for now because I don't want everything to get too soggy. I have a problem with texture. I like yogurt, but sometimes I'm like, yeah. So I just made 2. I'll have one this morning, and then I'll have one that I already have set for tomorrow. Isn't that great? And then I'll just sprinkle the granola right on top right before I eat it. But it's great. And this is also, too, a nice little dessert if you're trying to do the right thing. I try every now and then. I don't always stick to it. But it is nice to be able to have something that you want something sweet, but you want to kind of try to be healthy. This is a nice little dessert that you can easily whip up, and especially if you already have your granola on hand in your pantry in your airtight container. So, I didn't taste the potatoes on camera. Well, I didn't taste them at all, so let me taste those. And it's great because, see, you didn't want them too thick because you wanted them to be, see how nice and crisp and brown they got? Ooh. And then they're nice and soft and tender in the middle. Oh, yeah. Sorry, they're really hot. But they're perfect. Like I said, they're crispy around the edges, nice and soft and fluffy in the middle. You can taste like the little bit of the tang from the sour cream. Pardon me. Then you have taste the chives, and I taste a little hint on the back of my tongue of that cayenne. So good. So since I don't eat salmon, I'm gonna have turkey bacon with my breakfast, with my brunch. But like I said, as we close out, I have some club soda here. I have some peach juice. Nice and simple. Couldn't find any peach nectar, so peach nectar would have been better because it's nice and thick. But this is nice and refreshing. And a nice way to cap off our first of many brunches. Cheers. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, follow me on Instagram. By the way, doing a 30-day spring refresh and reset challenge where we're going to be talking about all things cleaning, organizing, decorating for spring.